Today, I'm at the Albany Amtrak station, and I'm waiting to go south to Eugene on the Amtrak Cascades, which will be coming from this direction. And I've been here before, so not a lot to say about the wait. It's the middle of August, and it's a cloudy but warm day, maybe a cloudy but hot day. We'll see how the day goes. There is the Amtrak Cascades train coming in under Highway 99 East, and I am about to go and board that train, so putting down my video camera.
How do you hold it down?
Leaving Albany, going south, more or less on time. This is Harrisburg, about to cross the Willamette into Lane County. It is a Friday afternoon in Eugene, and I just got off the train, and I'm going to the bus station, the local bus station. It's 2 p.m. I don't like waking up early, so I'm only going to have 4 hours here. But because I'm still new here, I've only been here a couple times, as I've said, it's still all new to me, so 4 hours here is still a really fun Friday afternoon. And let's see what I can find. There's fun stuff going on in Eugene. There's always fun stuff going on in Eugene. It's still lunchtime, so the party hasn't really started as far as dining goes, though. I'm at Commerce Hill Station. I just got off the Emerald Express bus rapid transit, and it's called a station and not a bus stop because this is supposed to be a train. And this is further out than I thought it would be. Sometimes I can't tell looking at a map. There are some things I want to see around here, but I need to get my bearings for a second. This apparently is the West Eugene wetlands, which is one of the things I came to see. And, you know, looking at it on the map, I thought, Eugene wetlands, probably a beautiful natural paradise. And going to be judgmental for a second. This seems like it's an empty lot next to two highways intersecting, which, as I said before, that doesn't make it bad habitat. That makes it good habitat because maybe there's less visitors, but not exactly what I was expecting. This is a complex, and so there is different things for me to see, and I will try to see what I can find. Not a beautiful part of nature. So let's see what's in this direction. I can't spend too much time here, though. I have places to be and the like. So is this here supposed to be a trail, or is this just the border near this car care center? I might as well try to see if I can follow it a ways and see if there's anything here. So I will do that briefly. If that doesn't work, then I will return to more predictable terrain. Well, this is certainly a natural body of water. Mostly natural. There's this riprap here. I don't think this is exactly where I want to be, and I don't want to try to cross this water, obviously. So I'm going to head back up. There will be more later. You know, this was just one thing. Like I said, there's a complex, and I think I can access other parts of it fairly easily. Incidentally, this road right here going forward is the road to the coast. Go through Veneta, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, about 20 miles west of Eugene, then hits the coast range and goes on to Florence. And this is kind of where Eugene ends. As you can see, we have like a single business and then empty field, so this is kind of the end of the route, end of the line. And I'm going to look one more time over there, because here's this sign that says bicycle and footpath, and that might be a good thing. So I was not totally deluded. This is the Fernridge Trail, and this looks like what I was looking for, not the scrap of the land that I saw just now. So I'm gonna go and see what's there. In an example of the map is not the territory, I actually studied this area a lot on Google Maps, my best friend, both top-down and street view, and it looks and feels a lot different than I thought it would. Not saying it in a bad way, but I thought it would be a little bit different. And that's kind of the fun thing about going to new places. But also because today, like I said, I came here in the afternoon, I'm a little bit short on time, so I feel a little bit pinched and hurried, but not enough that I'm not enjoying myself. Well, apparently this is somewhere. This is some type of parking lot. I don't think it's a parking lot just for trail access. I think there's some type of building over there. And this is called the Fernridge Trail, and it goes to the Fernridge Reservoir several miles that way. And perhaps on another day, but for today, I'm going to turn around and head eastward back into the center of Eugene, or at least part of the way. We'll see just where I go. And this trail here that the trail parallels and that is mostly hidden by brush is Amazon Creek. When I first saw that on signs, not being hip to Eugene, I thought like Amazon Station. I thought that Amazon had opened some jumbo facility here, but no, that's just the name of the creek, and it flows for a while, and this trail parallels it in different forms for several miles. So I'm just gonna follow this trail and see what's on it, and hopefully also at some point get some water. It's hot today. I'm not sure about this, but my guess is that this creek has in some way been channelized and changed from its original course and form, and obviously here the native vegetation has been changed. And so even though we can see there's a lot of vegetation that's growing back, and there's probably a lot of species that can live here, because it's close to a couple of highways, because it's been disturbed, it's probably not like a fully functioning ecosystem as far as what plants and animals would normally be there. So this shot here, where I'm underneath a bridge, shows about how big the creek is at this time of year. Where I'm standing now can be flooded, so it obviously gets a lot bigger. And there we have a vanilla bottle. One thing that's good about being here is that I said in previous videos, I actually didn't really visit Eugene before last summer, and now I've been here, you know, the 5 times. And, you know, in Portland, I've walked from Gaston to Washougal, and I've walked all around, you know, the center of Portland. I know it really well. So this is all low-hanging fruit that I've never gotten to, because you know, this is a really nice trail, or at least this is a new, interesting place, and I had no idea it was here. So for me, this is all new, so it's really fun to explore here. And another thing is that people seem to like to watch videos about Eugene, so giving my audience what they want, so to speak. So I'm back here. I got off the trail for just a second, and for 2 reasons. One is that I really need some hydration. Probably gonna get it there. And I also wanted to show that even though Eugene has kind of a twee reputation, and that indeed, like, you know, transit and stuff is better here, like most American cities, it does have this part. And saying that without judgment, just want to show it. I am back on the trail and I am 4.3 miles from downtown. And normal walking pace, I say, is about 4 miles per hour. I have 2 hours to get there. But sometimes my walking pace can be a little bit less and I might stop to look at things. So I may not get all the way downtown. I may get back on the bus at some point, but for now, I'm going to continue walking because I'm hydrated and having a good time. So it looks like right here, the trail is going underneath the highway. The creek meanders as creeks do, and the highway goes straight. So we're heading south here, and I think we stay south for a while. But like I said, I don't really know where I'm going, which is part of the fun. And as I guessed, the Amazon Creek was straightened, deepened, and even put into a concrete channel. So this is a restoration of its original channel. Also, interestingly, even though we're close to the Willamette, it's actually flowing in this direction towards the Long Tom River, which goes through Monroe. Kind of to reiterate a point, like I said, Eugene is, you know, known as kind of a twee city, very artistic. The downtown is what it is. But then over here, we do have like a lot of these warehouses, light industry. We have a lot of highways, a lot of middle income housing. So there is this side of Eugene where Eugene is in places like a large suburb. Well, now I am 2.7 miles from downtown. It's about 4:30, so that is, I think, something I can walk pretty easily. Of course, it doesn't say where downtown. That might not be exactly where the train station is. But still, I have almost 2 hours. This is a plain, simple way to walk, so I'm just going to keep on going forward. One of the noteworthy things about this trip is that there is nothing noteworthy in a way. Like, this path is just obvious. I'm following it. No problems. No particular thoughts or thesis or anything to share. Just a nice August day. I haven't noticed a lot noteworthy about the ecosystem. Mostly, you know, common birds, human habituated birds. A lot of introduced plants. You can see the carrot, teasel, that type of thing. A lot of willows along the creek. And that could be because this is a disturbed area, so like full ecosystems haven't really reasserted themselves. Also, it's August, and so, you know, there's a lack of moisture and not the most active time of year for a lot of animals. The trail has changed a little bit here. Instead of having a swath of parkland beside the trail, we just have fences and apartment buildings, and then the creek itself to one side. And I think that means I'm getting closer to the center of the city. That looks like that's the Mark of Chaos crossed with Bill Cipher. And I don't know what that means, and I don't think I like it. This apparently is a community garden, and quite a large one. One of the many little features along the path. One kind of counterintuitive thing I've noticed is that when I was further out, we saw a lot of apartment buildings. And now that I'm closer to the center of the city, there are a lot of single-family homes. So sometimes population patterns and housing patterns can be different than what we might guess. Now that I'm getting close to the center of Eugene, yeah, it's like it's a quiet suburban neighborhood. So here there's a path to the right, and then there's a path to the street. And I want to find out what street this is, because it could be that this path will overshoot downtown and that I'm supposed to get off and walk left. So I want to see what the name of this street up here is. So it's Chambers Street, and I don't really know what that means, but I don't think I'm past downtown yet. So I'm going to continue on, and probably the next one I'll get off and just walk to the left. Earlier on a sign it said that Amazon Creek had been restored, but apparently not in all places, because this is concrete here, probably because they can't restore this here with keeping this bridge here. stable. So here it's still channelized, probably not a real natural habitat. And then we can see over here we have a creek that's been put underground, one of the tributaries. So it hasn't all been restored. Well, this sign doesn't really help me too much because it doesn't say where downtown is. It does say Garfield Park is 0.2 miles that way. And I know enough about the Eugene city grid that I know that it starts in downtown. You have Washington, and then as you go towards the west, the precedents go up. So if that's Garfield, that means we are about 20 streets from downtown, 1 mile. And yeah, it does look like I should be getting to the left. It is also 5 p.m. My bus leaves in 75 minutes. So I am kind of getting to the point where, yeah, I want to be closer to downtown than further. I remember this exact tree from Google Maps. This is Polk Street, so we're all the way to the Mexican-American War, which means even though the path goes on over there, it's time for me to turn left and head downtown. So a couple things to note. One is that sometimes when I do these videos, I know where I'm going. I know it well personally. I've done some research on it, and I have kind of like a objective thing I want to say about it to bring out what I think is a central point about that area. And then sometimes, like today, I have a very sketchy knowledge of it. This is my first time in those locations, even though I studied them on a map. And so a lot of this was me expressing curiosity or even anxiety about where I was. And that's kind of on purpose, because sometimes the process of going to a place is itself the content. You know, it's not like I am an objective lens who can travel at will. I get a little bit lost and a little bit confused and a little bit anxious, and that's part of the story. If I did have to sum up my objective lesson today, it's that, you know, a lot of times in a city like Eugene, which has a reputation well-deserved for being environmentally conscious and stuff, there is a lot of protected areas, a lot of natural areas, a lot of places for recreation and to appreciate nature along that path. And along with that, just like any other city, it has areas that are, you know, not the most aesthetic and encourage a lot of traffic. And I won't make any judgments about that, but it's just interesting because somebody could take videos of Eugene and only show the pretty part and, you know, not recognize that, yeah, it has its other side to it as well. So sometimes cities can do more than one thing at once. And then the third point we see right here, which is that, you know, stereotypically the center of a city is going to be denser housing, apartment buildings, maybe multi-story apartment buildings, and then as you get into the suburbs, you get into single-family detached homes. And here, what do we see? We are much closer to the center of the city, and this is where a more stereotypical residential neighborhood is. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, when people are talking about cities or suburbs or towns, they'll say a lot of things, and it's kind of like a quick and easy rule, but each city is unique, and sometimes the city is arranged in a way that people don't expect. I'm back at the train station. Got here about 30 minutes before my bus leaves. Cutting it a little bit close. I would have liked to have more leeway, but this way I won't be bored. And I saw a lot of things today. One thing I did want to talk about more, but really don't have the knowledge to comment on it, is today we saw the other side of Eugene. Like I said, you know, this is big box retail, highway interchanges, and one of the questions I have, and who knows if there's even an answer to this, how does, you know, this Eugene that we think of as Eugene, small businesses, walkable neighborhoods, transit-oriented, relate to the rest of that Eugene? You know, I'm not saying that in a judgmental way, even though I have my preference, But I'm just interested because, like, the BRT, the bus rapid transit, goes there, but do people actually use it the same way that they do in the downtown core, where it's used quite a bit? And Eugene, as far as its size, and I said this in my video last year, is not that different than Salem. It's actually the same size and density, but they've kind of made a decision to use transit. And so, can transit work in neighborhoods that are not ideal for transit? It's a question I've had on my mind. But now the question I have on my mind is, how can I sit down? I saw some bunnies. And also significantly, it's getting late enough in the season that it's not too hot. The sun is going down. The sun will be down by the time I get home. So, you know, I'm not minding it too much. I'm just enjoying it, especially because now it's the middle of August, and so like the end of summer is in sight. So I'm just glad that I had a chance to go and see somewhere new today, and waiting here and walking around for a while is not too much of a problem. And I saw a lot of new things today, and I don't really have any specific thoughts that I haven't shared. Just time to go home and relax before the next adventure, and who knows when that'll be.